Instead of coming straight back to your drum, you drop and catch it with your right on top of your left, and then push it into a cross still, and then back down to your drum normally. So normal, up, cross, up, normal. Again, no figure of eights or anything, you're just dropping it. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So yeah, hopefully that helps. Are you swinging your sticks in the stall? Not really. All you're doing is from here, it's coming towards your body, and then coming straight back down. So hopefully this answers your question. Side on, it looks like this. I don't know if that'll help actually, but it might. So you're just kind of pulling it up and then dropping it again. That's all. Cool. Okay, we're going to do a little rudiment exercise, which I really enjoy doing. And I learned it because I did snare for a year when I was in my skills band, Stirling District Skills Pipe Band. Shout out Novice A, Novice B, big love. So it's called paradiddles. Hopefully you've heard of them before. If not, we're going to do them just now. I'm going to put on my plastic mallets just so you can hear me properly. Hopefully you can see my sticks when I play as well. When you put it together, there's an extra bounce. Oh, do you mean when I do it fast? Give me like a yes or a no if you mean when I did it faster. Martina. Because sometimes it can look like there's an extra bounce just because it's a bit quicker. I'll just wait till you reply. Okay. I might just start with paradiddles, and if you give me a yes or no, if you give me a yes or no, then I will fix it halfway through. So, paradiddles, snare drumming exercise, tenors, oh, yes, okay. So when you're bouncing it, it is just the same thing. It just looks a bit bouncier. So it's just this. There's no extra bounce or anything. It's just because I don't stop it like this. You just kind of bounce it. Hopefully that helps. So, paradiddles. The way that you do them is you do single, single, double. That's a right-handed paradiddle. So you do right, left, right, right. Again. Right, left, right, right. Then if you do a left paradiddle, you do the same, sort of. So you do left, right, left, left. Again. Left, right, left, left. Okay? So if you put it together, you have right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. This is good because when you start, if you get used to it, you can play it a bit faster and add accents in, so that improves your beats on the drum, because you don't want to sound really like stuttery, maybe the word. Just all separate. You want it to flow and just have a bit of confidence with it all. So paradiddles are the perfect exercise to work on. So again, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Right, right, left, right. Ryan King, how are you? So then if you speed it up, you have right, left, right, left. So that's your basic paradiddles. Once you get a bit more confident with it, you should be able to do it a bit faster. You can add some accents in. So you can accent the first beat. So you have loud, quiet, 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 loud. Okay, so that's quite good for practicing your accents. And then you put the accent on the second beat. This is quite a common exercise and it is really good for you. So instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Then you put the beat onto the accent onto beat 3 and you go paradiddle, paradiddle. That was better. And then you put the accent on the last beat, so you have paradiddle, 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 something you can practice as a warm-up or just to practice as part of your practice schedule, just to improve your beats and where you put accents in. Because once you've practiced doing it generally, then on accent on beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4, you can put it all together into one exercise. So you go 1, 2, 3, oh, missed the table, and then 4. So yeah, you can just practice that and then do it a bit faster, and it's something kind of cool you can show off. So yeah, hopefully that helps as a little rudiment exercise for you. Okay, back to flourishing, because that is much more enjoyable for me. But I would recommend practicing your beats. I've got another little exercise we'll do later on, but it would be good if everyone did practice your beats, because it will help your drumming a lot. So yeah, a few more extra watchers. Let me know where you're from, what band you're in. I'll give you all a shout out. And anything that you want to work on in particular, just so I'm benefiting you as much as I can. Okay, so the next one we're going to work on is called a mesh. It's also called a split the feather. It's called a flam. Yeah, it's got quite a few names, but it looks like this. Okay. Side on. You can let me know what you all call this, and I'll try and shout it out, same way as I did with pinwheel and cartwheel. So yeah, let me know what you call it. I call it a mesh, some people call it a split the feather, or a flam. So, this is a mesh. Most commonly seen when you're doing rolls at the start of a tune, so you do left single, right single, together, left single, right single, together. Okay? So the way that you do it is, it's basically 2 singles, kind of if you think similar to cartwheels, how you're doing the same thing on both hands, but you're doing it kind of slightly different times. Otherwise you'd get this and it doesn't look as cool. So it needs to go at slightly different times. That's the same way that you do a mesh. So you have to just start singles at the side of your hands and bring them in. There's a few ways you can learn it, so I'm going to give you all of them and you can figure out which one works best for you. So, split the feather. So, split the feather, then I'll call it that. So yeah, so you just throw it into singles at the side of your hands and then pull them in, and you should kind of naturally start doing it at separate times. Try not overthink it. Try to go like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, because that doesn't really help, I don't think. So yeah, so starting at the sides, pulling it in, that sometimes helps. I also try and think of it like a triangle, so you don't want to end up like this, like a cog. You want it to be angled, so your elbows need to kind of tuck in. Like when I was talking about the flat singles, how you have your elbows out, mesh and normal singles, you want your elbows in. And it just looks a bit neater too. So hopefully you can see what I mean about it being a triangle with my sticks. It makes it a little bit like this. And the best way of this can sometimes happen, if you start like this and pull it in, people can sometimes bring one hand underneath the other, so it's not as even. So the one thing to kind of bear in mind is if you have this part of your hand, so like the side of your thumb on both hands, you want to try and keep that as close together as you can. Doesn't have to exactly be touching, but you want to have it as close as possible. Hopefully you can see there what I mean. Because right now, for example, this part of my hand isn't touching, but when you bring it in, it should be touching. You can try and think like wrists, but sometimes that's quite uncomfortable. So try and think more like your thumbs are rubbing together. So triangle, thumbs, and then just pulling it apart. And try and make sure that your sticks are going at even times. Try and not get this happening. Like, I don't think I can even do it. Like one stick going really fast and one going slowly. That kind of goes with most things. Same with cartwheels or pinwheels. Try and not have like one going rapid and one going really slowly. Try and get it nice and even. And the same with, don't try and push it into loads, because sometimes what happens if you push for too many cartwheels, it can go a bit squint, and you want to keep it as straight as you can. One tip I have with cartwheels or pinwheels is you want to pretend like you're holding a bicycle handle. All these things help my brain, so hopefully they help you too. If not, it'll make you remember them, maybe. So hopefully you see what I mean. So your hands should be level, and the way that your fingers should be is that you could hold bicycle handles. So yeah, hopefully that helps as well. And elbows nice and out as well for cartwheels. So yeah, or pinwheels. That's what I'd suggest. So once you've got your mesh and your cartwheel sorted, you can put the two together, and this is what I call a split the feather. Sorry, I think it was Ryan that said he calls it a split the feather. So this is like a flourished split the feather. We'll get both. So it looks like 1 and 2. You can also add forward singles on at the start, but we'll do that in a second. So you push into a mesh, and you should just start straight from your drum. Try not do 1 and, otherwise that ruins the effect. So you want to go straight into a mesh. Then you pull your hands apart, kind of like how you'd learn. Then you stick your elbows out and pull your hands back in again into a cartwheel. So you should go mesh, out, elbows, in. Okay, again. Mesh, out, elbows, in. And then when you make it a bit smoother, it should look like 1 and 2. So that's quite a showy off flourish. I quite like flourishes that look cool but aren't too difficult. See what I mean? So that's a split the feather, and quite commonly you add in forward singles at the start. So it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. So all that is a single going forward on the outside of your hand. So like towards my camera just now. I can't do them for very long. So yeah, so you do that on both hands. 1 down, throw into a mesh, pull out into a cartwheel. So forward and mesh, out, wheel, down. So yeah, hopefully that helps. So that's a mesh, split the feather, and then you can just do mesh into a wheel, or you can do forward into a mesh into a wheel. Now there's one further variation on it. This is the thing with tenor drumming as it starts evolving, is that instead of just having a single, you then have a mesh, then you have flats, then you have a wheel, then you have backward wheel. Like, it just keeps evolving, so it means there's always something new that you can learn, which I quite like. So mesh is start number 1, then mesh, pull into a wheel is number 2, 3 is adding the forwards, and then 4 is the Ailey split the feather. I didn't call it this. I came up with this flourish, don't know, a year ago, maybe 18 months ago, and I sent it to the lovely Bethany Jack, who's in Field Marshal. Very much recommend watching her solos if you get the chance. Her beats are amazing, so YouTube her. And I sent her the flourish, and I said, I can't decide what to call it, but I think it looks quite cool. And she said, the Ailey split the feather. So that is what it's now called. So it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a similar idea to a normal split the feather, but the first bit, instead of just doing normal singles down to your drum, what you do is do a forward one, cross your hand over and bring it out again. So your right is coming closest to your body, so you do throw, cross, and then you hang your sticks at the side. I might push back a little bit. So forward, cross, hang your sticks. Hopefully they stop. Then you throw it into a mesh, stall them, and go into a pinwheel or a cartwheel. Or split the feather, Ryan. So the way that you do this bit is you just mesh, and then instead of having your hands here, you kind of twist them so it should stop them into a stall. Like that. Oh, that wasn't very good. There. It's kind of like a little backward figure of 8 at the end. And then from here, just throw it into a cartwheel. So forward, cross, hang, mesh, stall, wheel. Again, forward, cross, hang, mesh, stall, wheel. And then your timing would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, hopefully you like that. If you have a better name, I will take you up on it instead of sounding so confident in myself that I call it Ailey's. So yeah, if there's anything else people want to work on, let me know, or I'll happily just keep going through what I've got. Lewis McRae, woohoo, how are you? So yeah, so the next one we're going to work on is bye-byes. This is my favourite flourish. I think, oh, is there a specific way to do stalls when it comes to grip? Okay, we'll do this first. So, there's a couple ways you can do it. It depends what band you're in sometimes. So my band do straight up. So fingers going up to the sky and your stick going up the way. So just going straight. I've always kind of done that. I personally prefer it because I don't think it's as uncomfortable as this. So I think Inveraray do it, SFU do it, and Johnson do it. I think Shots do this. I think most people do this, and then I think these are the only two that I've kind of seen. I personally find this quite uncomfortable to do, but I think that's just because I've always done this. I'm sure people who learn like this would find this weird. So I would normally stick with that because I feel that's easier. So just when I do it, sticks pointing up, and then I use my thumb to grip the butt of the stick here. So just going straight up and straight down. Or alternatively, you can do this. I can never really get this one right. So you, instead of flipping and pointing your fingers up, you wrap your sticks in a fist and kind of put your fingers together like that. Like if you're fist pumping someone. So up like that. Yeah, like I say, I normally stick with fingers straight up, just because I think it looks a bit neater sometimes. So yeah, hopefully that helped. Bonnie, welcome to the party. So yeah, bye-byes. Is there a difference when it comes to transitions? Ooh, what do you mean by transitions? Let me know. I can try and answer it. Problem is, so many bands have different names for things, so I never really know what you mean. So just let me know. Bye-byes look like this. My all-time favourite flourish. I think they're class. So the only thing you need to be able to do this. Oh, is there a specific way to do stalls when it comes to grip? Oh, the problem is that it's on my laptop and it's delayed. So anyway, bye-byes like this. The only thing you need to be able to do bye-byes is a backward figure of 8. So just this, like you'd go into a stall, or like when we were doing earlier on before this flourish. So single in towards your body, single in towards your body. One thing to try and watch with backward figure of 8s, these are just going to come as soon as I think of them, just little tips. So when it comes to backward figure of 8s, try and keep your hands like you're shaking someone's hand. Again, one of these other things that hopefully it'll help you remember it. So your hand should be nice and flat, and it shouldn't be your arm kind of making it turn, because otherwise you just look like a really sassy chicken. So you want to make it either your wrist or ideally your finger should be pushing it in and out. Like this. Same with the other hand. Nice and flat. Trying to use your finger or your wrist as much as you can. Keeping your elbow tucked in as much as you can as well. With bye-byes, you need to stick your elbows out. But generally when you're doing backward figure of 8s, keep them in. It just looks neater. Rather than doing this. Otherwise it does look like a little bit of a chicken. You don't want that. Katrina, does the fist grip with the stalls make going into different moves harder compared to... right, okay. So, again, I've not got much experience doing it from here. I feel like it might be a little bit harder, just because when you're in a straight stall, you can just push them forward. Like, I feel like it's easier to just do this, rather than that. I feel like it's a bit more uncomfortable. So I'd say... Personally, I think this looks a little bit better and it is a little bit easier. And like going into palms or anything, I think this is a little bit harder. So I try and stick with fingers up. I feel like it's a wee bit easier. Hopefully that answers your question. So, bye-byes. Backward figure of 8s. Here we go. I get quite distracted. Okay, so normally backward figure of 8s, when your hands are kind of going at the same time. So when your left stick's going in, your right stick's going in. When your left's out, your right's out. I feel like I'm doing the hokey cokey. So it's like in, out, in, out, in, out. Shake it all about. Bye-byes, you're doing it a little bit different. Are you? Yeah. So when your left stick's out, your right stick's in. So it should look more like this. Okay, so before it was this. And now you want to do this. Okay? Think like skiers, you know, they do this. Think like that, so like... You're not going to think I'm crazy, but I think these are great ways to remember things. And you'll all remember them. So, once you've got used to this, all bye-byes is you turn your hands to face your audience, or to face my phone, for example. So the way that you do that is normally your elbows are in, and the same way like when we did mesh going into a cartwheel, you need to stick your elbows out. So you have your backward, you change it a little bit, and then you stick your elbows out and pull them above your head. Okay? So normal, and then skiing, and then pull your hands to go here. And you want to keep them nice and high, don't have them too far apart, otherwise that gets really sore on your shoulders. So you want to keep them up and it looks a little bit cooler too. Okay, so nice and flat, using your wrist to bring your stick backwards and forwards, and then down. And you can also do it similar to when you do single, single, mesh. This is my favourite flourish. You do left, right, together. Left, right, together. Left, right, together. Ooh, left, right, together. When my left hand isn't misbehaving. So yeah, you don't have to do loads of them all at once, because I always get the fear that my stick flies off. So just nice and consistent. That's the one thing to think of. Don't think of how fast you're spinning, think about how consistently you're spinning. Because you don't want to do like a slow one and then duh, and then like medium. You want to keep them all even. So if you're going to do them all fast, make sure they're all fast. So yeah. My band calls that windshield wipers. Bye bye for our band is Pam. Oh, that's cool. I've not heard that before. Band calls that. I can understand how you get that though. Why you call that a windshield wiper. Ah, okay. It's like some people call this a windmill and they call this a butterfly. I've heard that a few times. Cool. Things you never learn. Amazing. So, we've done that. Okay. This might be a wee bit harder. Oh no, we'll do flick singles first, that's fun. Okay. So, flick singles, we'll do that now and then we'll do a beats thing. Look like this. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. I've not done these in ages. So, I think it was Inverary that made these. It was either Inverary or SFU, I can't ever remember. So, they're basically an elevation of flats. Of flat singles. These get called flats. Or sassies, Michael. So an elevation of this, once you've done this, is doing a flick. And they look quite smart, but they're easy. My kind of flourish. So the best way of doing it is if I do it with my right hand first. If you all stick your hand in the air. Woo-hoo. So from here you're doing out, hold on to your stick. In, out, flat. Again, you don't actually hold your stick, sorry that was lying. So, you're basically just doing this for the flicks. So it's quite hard to explain these kind of things because it's just kind of throwing your stick. So you go out away from you, in towards you, out away from you, flat single. So out, in, out, flat. Again, out, in, out, flat. One more time. Out, in, out, flat. Same with the other hand. Tell me that looks like flat singles, then bounce back. For me, flats are single, sideways, no bounce. Oh yeah, okay, so these are flats, and then these are flick flats. I just wish I say that properly. Like this, okay? So they are just flats with a little wee extra bit at the start, basically. Again, so on your left hand, you're going out, in, out, flat. Again, out, in, out, flat. One more time. Out, in, out, flat. So basically the best thing, you don't want to end up going 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and, because it doesn't look as cool. So it needs to be like 1, 2. So out in, out in, out in, out in. That's quite hard to say. Okay? So 1, 2. 1, 2. Oh, now I'm confused myself. So yeah, that's normally quite a cool one to kind of show off with. If you want fanfares, that's always quite cool. Because people don't really expect it. Even if you did 1, 2, 3, 4. So you did flat, flat, flick, flat. If you want to put more stuff in, you could go single, 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 flat, flat, flick, flat, okay? Most of the things I've shown you, you can kind of put into one sequence. So you could do like flat, flat, flick, flat, right, left, bye byes, mesh, pull onto a wheel, and then 1, 2. Something like that. Most of the flourishes I've shown you can fit in at some point, which is always quite cool. So, bye byes I've just done, and I thought of something we could do, and I've now forgotten what it was. Ah, head flats, okay. Another variation on a fake flat. I think this was Inverie that did it. So it's flats going around your head, which is quite hard to do if you have a Glengarry on. Wouldn't recommend. So what you do is you start a flat, like a flat single or a sassy single, on the opposite side of your body than it's used to. So if you're doing it with your right hand, this one, you start it on your left side of your body. That's the best way of learning. Or if you're doing a left flat, you start on the right hand side of your body. So hopefully you can see that. Because normally you'd have it on the same side of your body. So like left, right. So proud to remember my rights and lefts. So this one, you want to have it separate. Okay? So if we start with our right, you start it over here. Then you literally just bring your arm up and round your body. So you go flat, up, round, down. So it's like an exercise for your shoulders almost. Again with your left, up, round, down, flat, round, down. And then you can just do loads, so 1, 2, 1, out, 2, okay? Look quite cool. Some people call them helicopters, I've heard that. Love hearing new names of flourishes, so if I've said something different from what you call it, put it in the comments, let me know, give me a laugh. How do you do a windmill? Oh, the classic question. So, windmills are hard to teach sometimes, so I have a couple of things I can show you. Some work for some people, some work for others. Both sometimes work for people. So I'll give you both. So, breaking down a windmill is there's 3 rotations. So you have 2 on the inside of your body and 1 on the outside. So if you do it with your right hand, you're doing forward, forward, out, catch. Forward, forward, out, catch. The one thing that you need to be careful of when you're learning a windmill is you don't do 1, 2, 3. It's not 2 counts, it's 2 rotations. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Avoid doing this, because otherwise it'll never work. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Same the other hand. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This is one of these flourishes. You're doing the same thing on both hands, just different timing. So like with the skiing backward figure of 8s for bye byes, same kind of deal. So you want to go in and out, in and out. Okay? So you need to get really comfortable with that movement. And then you stop catching it. So it's good to do 1 and then stop it pointing up the way. That goes for all flourishes. So figure of 8s, don't do 1 and then drop it, because it's not good practice. So you want to have it all finishing. Same with this, so 1, 2, out, 1, 2, out. Once you've got used to doing that, you stop catching, so you go 1, 2, out, 1, 2, out, 1, 2, out. And with this, and with most flourishes, I like having a tune in my head, or listening to not put you off. So like, if you've seen Oliver, like, pa, 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 you'll see why I'm not a singer. Like this. Okay? Like that. I'll talk about tunes in a second, which will help. So that's one thing to do. And then this next exercise will help you with the crossing over. Actually, no, I'll do something else first. So, if you want to keep spinning, like this, good practice, and what you actually do in the flourish, is you do the first rotation is the opposite hand of your body. So right hand, stick with your right hand, left hand is like on your drum, okay? So you cross over for the first rotation and do 1. Then you bring it to your normal side, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Main thing if you're doing this is don't move your left hand. Try not go like 1, 2 or whatever. Try and keep your stick even on the table. Do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Because that's what you do in the actual flourish. So you do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Same with your left hand. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's a couple things that might help. The other thing, I actually just got shown this a month ago maybe by one of the girls in our band, Joanna, big love. And it's a beats exercise which makes you cross your hands over, which might help. So it looks like, oh, I need to make sure you can see me. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I will explain it, I'm not just going to do that and leave you. So, both hands on the drum. You take your right hand and you go hit with your sticks over. So, over, left, back to normal. Okay, so just try that. Over and 1. Over and 1. Over and 1. And after you've done that, you do it on the opposite hand. So, right and right, left, right, left. Okay? If you think back to this flourish that we did, same kind of thing when you're crossing your hands over. Okay? So you're doing right cross and 1, left cross and 1, cross and 1, cross and 1. Same when pa pa, so you get pa pa, pa pa. That's how it goes. That's all I remember from that song. So yeah, because it's how it should feel when you're doing it. So when you get better at that, you just stop hitting the drum and you go 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a. You don't have to move it far off, only like 6 inches maybe. 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a. Michael McDonald, you're very welcome. 1 and a 2 and a. Okay? And then you just have to put both together. So it does take a little bit of time, but I promise you will get there. The other thing that sometimes helps, which is the way I learned how to do a windmill, is by taking your strings off. Same with when I learned how to do a butterfly, just because when you have your strings off, you don't, when you have them off, you have more time to do your flourish, so you can throw them a bit more. If you think about when you have the fire dancer people, and they have like long string with a big fireball on the end, theirs is so long, so they have enough time to kind of avoid it. Whereas if you have your sticks on, you don't have that much time to move your hands. So it is quite good for practice to have them off. And you just kind of hold on to the knots. Obviously don't let go, try not to. And then you just kind of have to throw into it. So that's that 1, 2, out, 1, 2, out exercise we did before. And then honestly you just have to kind of try it. So even if you just tried like 1 cross this, get used to that. Just throw your sticks about and you'll probably end up doing it by accident. So that's kind of it. And then if you try and think of like a scooping motion, I got told ice cream scoops as well to think of. So like pa pa Hopefully that helps. Maybe. So that's a few techniques that hopefully will help you learn how to do a windmill. Obviously it is just practice, it is quite hard, unfortunately. So yeah, hopefully that helped. Let me know if it did. Let me know when you've got your windmill, that's a big achievement. Okay, we've only got about 15 minutes left. Has anyone got anything specific that they want to do? We're going to do another beats exercise, but just to give you a little heads up that we don't have much time left. So if you have anything that you really want to work on, any questions that you've got, if you haven't noticed, I quite like talking, so I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. So yeah, so this second exercise is again what I learned in the school's band on snare, but it's still really useful for tenors. If you haven't had snare lessons before, you don't obviously need lessons, but I definitely get used to doing like good roll practice, so nice loose hands, using the backs of like your fingers in the back of your sticks rather than holding on really tight and doing this. You want to avoid that, especially beats exercises are awesome. Yes, they are. So instead of, for example, if you have triple lip one, it sounds a lot nicer if you have nice loose hands but still controlled, rather than going, otherwise you end up buzzing. I struggle with a push out a lot. I'll fix that, Kim, don't worry. So, you want to have nice big hands. Same as rolls. And the biggest one that this exercise will help with is fives, which I'm still not great at, but I still practice. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you need to get good practice at that. So it's basically just hitting the drum really fast. So this exercise, do you have a good exercise for practicing your catches? Okay, we'll do that. So this is called Mummy Daddies. If you haven't heard of it, you are missing out. It's one of my favourites. So it's basically just doubles on your right, then doubles on your left. So you go right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. Okay? So Mummy Daddy. You'll guess why it's called it. Mummy Daddy. Okay? And then best bit is, so you start it off slowly, and then you build up like claps at a concert, if you know what I mean. So you go 1. So you do it for a while until your face ends up like this. Marcus, how are you? Nice to see you. So that's a really good one to practice as well. Same with accents on your Mummy Daddies, like what we did before with 1, 2, then 3, then 4. You can do the same with Mummy Daddies. So you accent the first beat and then you accent the second one. So like Mummy, Daddy, Mummy, Daddy, like this. So that's quite good for bringing your hand up high and then having to hit it again low, which sometimes people can struggle with. So you hit it on the 1. And then you can hit it on the 2. So like 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So it's the same the other way around. So it's quite hard to go from quiet to loud all of a sudden. So like 1 and 2 and. So you can put them together and go 1, 2. Okay? So that's a good thing to work on as well. Because we've had a few flourish things nominated in, I will do that just now. So hopefully those 2 rudiment exercises will help. Well, Mummy Daddies with accents, paradiddles with all the accents, and then just generally try and be a bit more relaxed with your fingers. Try and not be like fists, otherwise it sounds really buzzy and just not as nice. So you want to have it nice and relaxed but still controlled. You need to have like a bit of a balance of the 2. So stalls catching is easy. My arms are tired, this reminds me why I'm here. Tell me about it. So catching stalls, we'll do that first just because it's a bit quicker than teaching Pam's Kim, but I'll come back to it. So the best one for catching stalls is literally just, you need to get used to doing from here, just catching straight into a stall. Kind of like what I said before with the windmills, like, 1, 2 and catch. Like you need to get used to catching, which sounds really silly. But even just doing single catch, like 1 rotation, like it's such good practice. And if you have to make sure that the pom-pom is pointing up to the ceiling, because there's no point doing because it just looks a bit silly. So that's the best thing I'd kind of suggest, is doing 1 rotation and getting really used to stopping a stick. So yeah, I'd say that. And then from like a stall, same sort of thing. Like you just need to hold it. So like from here, drop, catch. Even if you do it slowly. And catch. And catch. Same with the other hand. And catch. So yeah, as silly as it sounds, spin it and try and stop it dead straight. Or pick where you want it to stop. So like here. Or if you want it to point it down, here. Obviously that's a bit harder. But decide where it's going to stop and make sure it does stop there. And do like 10 forward, then 10 singles, 10 forward singles. I wouldn't really do 10 of these because they're quite uncomfortable. But yeah, just try and stop your stick. Which sounds silly, but hopefully that helps in some way. Okay, Kim, Pam outs. Again, there's a few techniques that I'll give you with all of them. Same with the windmill. Hopefully 1, 2, all will help. So for hands and elbows, I always obsess with elbows because I don't like when I see this happening or like 1 out. It's one of my things. So elbows and hands, I will show you what it should go like. So you should go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So push out or palm out. I call them palm out, so hopefully you get what I mean. So the out bit is 3 and 4. 1 and 2, you're doing a forward figure of 8. So 1, 2. Then 3, 4, you literally just do like a little bit of a push. And then from 5, you just kind of spin your stick back in towards you again. Okay? So I'll break it down a little bit better than how I just said it. So I'll just do my right hand so you can see the whole thing. Oh, there's another question. Okay, I'll fix that in a minute. So you do forward, out, and then if you kind of stop it here with your palm facing up the way. 1, 2. Then from here, your stick just has to come towards you. So you do like this. Okay? Kind of like when you do a backward pinwheel, cartwheel thing. So 1, 2, and 1. So this top bit, top bit is like a single. So forward figure of 8, pinwheel, backwards, single. Okay? So forward and out and down. It's quite hard to do slowly. So 1 and round and down. 1 and round and down. 1 and round and down. Sometimes it's easier just for when you're learning, instead of catching it, going into a cartwheel. So 1 and round, and then just keep it going. So once you've done this bit, use the momentum to push it forward. So 1 and round, oh dear, fingers got in the way. Round, push in. 1 and out, push in. Hopefully you can see as well my elbow sticks out at about 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And then when you've got used to doing it with a cartwheel, you can catch it. 1, 2, 3, 4. If there's anything specific with your push out, I was about to call it a pin out there. Push out, Kim, comment it and I'll try and figure out what you mean with what's going wrong with it. So forward, out, and in. One more time. Forward, out, and in. Cool! Okay. Oh, I need to move this. See more. Here we go. Another tone for stall practice. Cross your hands in an X, palm down and swing. Oh. Oh, I don't know what you mean. Like that? Oh, I don't know. It's always very hard to read a flourish. Like this, maybe. Oh, I don't know. Not sure what you mean, Katrina. If it helps for stall practice, I'm all for it. Okay. This is what I was going to talk about. So, sometimes it's easier to listen to, I find, when you're learning flourishes, listening to, like, chart songs, or, like, pop songs, rather than pipe band music, just for a little bit of a change. So, if you want slow ones, Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran, you're going to be able to tell what my music preference is here. So, Thinking Out Loud, you think, like, do, 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 do. Okay? So this is really good for like catching practice. So you need to be able to. That's stomach level. Oh, I don't know. You need to make sure you're quite accurate at spinning and catching to hit into a beat again, which is what this exercise is good for. So like 1, 2, 1, 2, because you don't want to end up doing 1, 2, 1, 2, kind of that sort of idea. And that all comes from doing like one rotation. Okay, so 1, 2, change, 1, 2, 1, 2, change, 1, 2. Same can be done with bye-byes, like hand to hand. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Ooh. 1, 2, 1, 2. So that's for Thinking Out Loud. Because if you think everyone does it in like their waltzes and stuff, so it's a little bit slower. And then if you want a faster one, I like Budapest by George Ezra. It's like so it's a bit quicker. Okay? And then if you break it down, it's like double time. It'd be like love a bit of George Ezra. Okay? So hopefully that might help as well, just in case you don't want to listen to like your map set or your MSR over and over again. Try and find like a song you like listening to. It doesn't have to be the ones that I've mentioned, but if you find a song that you like, try and flourish along with it to whatever flourish you want to practice. So like Pam's, you could go like, that's Budapest, or whatever. Or like, sometimes it's harder, but it just might help a little bit for counting. So yeah. Anyone else got a few more questions? I think we've like 5-10 more minutes. Ryan Cruikshanks, welcome to the party. Okay. Okay, we'll do this. Why not? So, there is a flourish, which I quite enjoy, and quite a lot of bands do, called a coordinator, which looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's on your right hand, and you can do left, 2, 3, 4. Depending what band you're in, depends which one you usually do. I always personally do the right hand first. But, so, this is the key for doing the same thing on your hands with different timing, okay? This is why it's so important. So, I'm going to break it down into like proper minute details and we'll build it up to the main flourish. So, if you're watching this again and you're further on than when I start, you can just skip through, or if you're finding it harder, you can pause me. Okay, so to break it down, what you do on your hand, you do on both hands, but I'll show you on one. You do 2 backward figure of 8s into a stall, so out, in, up. Then you do a palm out or a push out into a cartwheel. Okay? So double, push out or a palm out into a wheel. Okay? So you do that on both, you do that on both hands. But to try and coordinate your hands, I'm going to show you it without the palm. So you're going to go double up, forward out wheel, double up, forward out wheel. Okay? So right first then left. So right, left. Okay? Again, double up, okay? Now what I want you to do is double up with your right, and when this goes into a forward out into a wheel, start your left, so double up. Oh dear, I put the palm in there, didn't mean to. Again, double up, okay? One more time, 1, if I can do it again. Square to do the palm when you've done it, okay? So it's that kind of idea. Next stage, you're going to do 1, that bit's still the same, but instead of doing a forward figure of 8 into a wheel, you're going to palm wheel, okay? So this is starting to introduce the palm. So double up, and here, palm, wheel. One more time, double up, and palm. Okay? Now the last stage is putting both palms in. So you do double up, and when this starts palming, this starts doing a double up, palm. Again, double up, palm, double up, palm, wheel. One more time, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then at speed it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's quite a cool flourish that you can kind of maybe work on. How much time have we got? Oh, we're almost out of time. Okay. One more flourish? Why not? That'll be nice. This is another flourish which I really enjoy doing and quite a lot of bands use as well. It's not got a name, but it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. Option to take the palm out, you just do 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's almost like the coordinator, but you, instead of doing 2 figure of 8s just separately, you cross your second one. So 1, cross, stall. Again, backward, backward, stall. And then from here, you can either, one more flourish, you can either push into a palm wheel, or you can do forward figure of 8 into a cartwheel. So backward, cross, stall, then forward out wheel. Or, oh, you're lost. Oh, which bit? This one. Oh, now I feel bad. Hopefully if you replay it, you might be able to make a bit more sense. If not, I'm sorry if I've confused you. So yeah, one more time. Out, in, out, cross, stall, forward, out, wheel. Or you can go out, cross, palm into a wheel. Like that. And do you want to tell me which bit you're stuck on and I can try and fix it? Or have I just totally lost you? Maybe it was the coordinators. I'm not sure. Okay. So, to summarise everything, sassy singles or flat singles, elbows out. Oh, this is pretty advanced stuff, right? You can check out her breakdown class. She's got it. Yeah, some of this is a bit harder. I'm just not quite sure what level everyone's on. So it's stuff that you can practice as well. So all the PAMs, hopefully if you... Can you show us what you play for mass bands? Yes, I can. That's what we can end with. No problem, I'm a beginner. Oh, right, sorry about that, Anne. Hopefully some of the stuff at the start of the lesson might be able to boost you on a little bit. And if not, you can always save this video and you can come back to it. So like double figure of 8, forward out wheel, even that would look good. So like double up, forward out wheel. That'd be a really good, like advanced beginner flourish, if you know what I mean. So it's just a bit cooler than just doing singles or flats. Right, Ryan, so mass bands, I think UK band, or Scotland bands anyway, and American bands do it a little bit different. So I'll show you what most people do, including myself. There's a few varieties, but general mass band. You repeat the part, first time through you do arm movements, second time through you do flourishing, and there's a combination of 4 flourishes, which everyone kind of uses, so I'll talk you through them all. So depending on what type of tune it is, if it's a 2-4, 4-4, 6-8, anything like that, I feel quite bad because some bands do it a little bit differently, but I'm going to show you what I do and what quite a lot of bands do. So you do what's generally called 4s, or piano time, or I think there's another name for it, I can't remember. I call them 4s because you have 4 movements. So you start with your right hand on the drum and your left sticking out the way, so that's 1. Then you switch, so your left would be on the drum, sticking your right out, that's 2. So 1, change 2. Then your left goes in the air and your right hits the drum, 3. Then you change, 4. So again, 1, right hand on the drum, left out. 2, you change. 3, your left goes in the air. Then 4, you go up, okay? So these are called 4s. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and... A few other bands don't stick their left out, so they kind of go like 1 and 2 and 1 and. Or, so, I know, who does that? Fife, I think, ooh, I'm going to get these bands wrong. I think Fife do that. I'm not actually, Sky do that, I know that. A few do really bent. A few do it straight. We normally do ours quite straight. If it's mass bands, you kind of bend your arm back a little bit. So, it looks like this. Try avoid doing this, like I've seen a few people doing. You want to keep it nice little angles going on. Okay, so that's your 4s. And then your combinations for flourishing. So, like I said, the first time through the tune, normally you just have this. Sometimes you can put a couple runs in. I normally just stick to 4s maybe if you're a beginner band. So just that kind of movement. And then generally mass band tunes have 4 parts. So part number 1, you just do singles. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so you do that until the end of the part. Then you do your 4s again. Then the second flourish is you do doubles. So you do 1, 2, 1, 2. So for anyone that doesn't know, a double is exactly the same as a single. You just hold it twice as long, which is why it's a double. Okay, so single, 1 and 2 and. A double's 1 and 2 and. Okay, so you have 4s, singles, 4s, and then doubles. Then number 3, I'll post the stall practice I've done later. Oh, cool. Number 3, you do like rolls. So left single, mesh or split feather. Left, right, together. Left, right, together. Okay, so that's part number 3. Then you do 4s again, and then you do like paradiddle flourishing. One of the questions I got asked before the live stream was whether you do flourishing then beats, or you do beats then flourishing, or you do both at the same time for learning. I try and do both at the same time, just because generally I teach younger people and they get a bit bored doing beats all the time. So it's good to have a mix. But this is when beats and flourishing can come together. So it's like a paradiddle flourish. So you do left, right, double on your left, right, left, double on your right. So it's the same idea as exercise, like 1 and double, 1 and double. You just do it with flourishing. So 1 and double, 1 and double. So yeah. So to summarise for mass bands, you have 4s for the first time through, and then part 1 is singles, then 4s again, then doubles, then 4s again, and single, single mesh, and then 4s again, and then paradiddles. So yeah, hopefully that helped. I've just seen what the time is and we're like running over, so thank you very much for watching. Love this lesson, going to take some tips for you guys. Oh, I'm so glad! I'm glad I could be of service. So yeah, hopefully this has helped. Feel free to drop a message or a comment onto this. Let me know how you're getting on. If you've got any questions, I'm always happy to answer them, and yeah, hopefully we can do this again soon. Really good work everyone, I'm sure. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you understood what I was talking about, and yeah, happy flourishing, stay safe, I hope you're all okay. I should have said that at the start. Yeah, thinking of you all, and let me know how you get on. Bye!